Good morning everyone, I'm Jazam, and I ask you, do you know it is possible to win a dragon fight using only a button and a lever? Yes, this is what I'm going to talk about. As we all know, a dragon fight goes by two phases. The first one consists in destroying the end crystals, and this is what we do with the button. The second phase consists in the dragon fight, and we do the dragon fight using only the lever next to me. And it looks something like this. And today I will present the first part where we are going to destroy the end crystals using a redstone system. It is the yellow tower behind me, which is linked to a sky belt system. This system uses dispensers that shoot arrows on the top of the obsidian columns, allowing the destruction of the end crystals. And for the end crystals that are inside cages, this system shoots TNT on the top of the cage in order to destroy it and also destroy the end crystal. It seems simple, but it is a bit technical. And this is what we are going to discover in today's video. Let's jump inside the end portal and figure out what to do. It isn't the first time that I come here. I have already vanquished one dragon, the one with the egg. And I digged some hallways under the island in order to protect myself either from the dragon or from the enderman. So technically, I'm not fighting 20 ender dragons but 19 because we can only have 20 end gates and I've already had one. However, we can summon the dragons as many times as we like, but after the 20th time it is useless. Here I have the map of the end with the end pillars. If I check this map, we can see the 10 end pillars, and the idea here is to make some pathways that can carry redstone in order to shoot arrows on the end crystals. They can be destroyed by many projectiles like arrows or snowballs, for example. But 2 or 3 of these end crystals are inside the cage, and in order to destroy the cage we may use TNT, but TNT will be dispensed automatically also. The system we are going to build should be very high into the sky so that it isn't destroyed by the dragon. We will try to build at 100 blocks of height maybe. Anyway, the dragon turns around the top of the towers and never goes very high to the sky. The first thing I'm gonna do is to tower redstone from here up to the sky, where I am going to put the system that will shoot arrows on the end crystals. But one should know that when we summon the dragon, end crystals come with an explosion. And when I tried this system for the first time, my towers got exploded. So we should build that tower really far from the top of each obsidian tower. What block should we use? Only 2 blocks are not destroyed by the ender dragon, obsidian and endstone. I'm going to use endstone. However, the redstone that I'm going to put on the endstone may be destroyed if the dragon comes close to it. So I'm going to put this tower somewhere where the dragon doesn't come a lot. I may put it just a bit far from where the towers are. Let's try, for example, this place. And last remark before I start the contraption, how to tower up the redstone. Generally, we can use alternation between a stone, then a redstone torch, then another one, then a redstone torch. However, there is a problem with this. Each time redstone is carried out with a redstone torch, it takes a tick. And in order to carry out the redstone up to the sky, we need around 60 ticks or maybe more. So this isn't a good idea. But we can think of something else, and we can use, for example, a stair where we put the blocks this way and we alternate redstone dust and construction blocks. It doesn't use much more stone, but we will need twice as much as the tower of the redstone torch. And this configuration has the advantage to be climbable, and we can go up until the redstone is not activated anymore. I think this is the level 1, and we should go until it is level 0, and then we may use another redstone torch in order to carry out the signal much more. And as this is the last block that can be achieved with the redstone signal, we should carry out the signal using another torch. So we should put another block here, then a torch this side, and from this torch we can carry out the signal using a set of blocks that can be put, for example, like this. However, we will lose some redstone dust here and thus some of the redstone power. If I temporarily cut the redstone dust here, I will see that here it will continue from 12 instead of 15, but no problem. We will need to put redstone torches a bit more often. Above these platforms where I put the redstone torches, I will put some lights just to see if I'm on the floor, if there isn't any dust missing. If any other light is lit up, that means that the tower is functioning well. And here is what the tower looks like from the bottom. And as you see, each other light is lit up, which means that the torches are functioning as they should. But the lights at the top should be switched off by default. And just to test it, if I put this kind of redstone clock here, I can see all the lights changing their status of redstone, which means that the redstone signal is transmitted from the bottom of the tower to the top. And this transmission is very fast. As we didn't use a redstone torch tower, instead of the signal to take more than 80 ticks, it takes only 8. Now, as we receive the redstone signal from this tower, the signal should be transmitted to some post at the top of each one of these obsidian columns. I have already started the left side. On the plan, as you see, on each one of the columns, I put a system that I will present to you, and each system will contain a dispenser. Well, we are putting here some kind of wires, and you can choose how to wire up your system. But I'm trying to put the wires around the island so that I can minimize the risk of the dragon destroying it if it comes to this height. But I don't think that the dragon comes this high. Usually it is under 128 on the Y position, so I really don't think it can damage the system. I will continue until I'm exactly on the top of the column. The use of the maps is really handy. But in order to be sure, I seriously use Optifine, and it gives me exactly the position of the block that is just on the top of the obsidian column. And as you see here, I'm exactly on the top of the central bedrock, especially when I use the zoom of Optifine. But if you don't have Optifine, there is a possibility to use water. The column of the water should go down exactly on the top of the bedrock. It is another way to be sure you are exactly on the top of the center of the column. And now I should do the same for all the other columns. Well, this should be the last one, and I will make the last support of the dispenser. And I think I'm exactly on the top of the center. In order to complete the wires, we just need an alternation between redstone dust blocks and repeaters. And we leave the repeaters on one tick. Then we will put the redstone dust until it isn't powered anymore. For example, this one isn't powered. So I will take it, then block, repeater, and I'll continue with the redstone dust. And just to avoid endermen spawning on your system, use torches on the blocks that are not wired. But endermen anyway won't spawn on the blocks where there is redstone. And if an enderman faces you, use the technique of the water, but for a brief time so that the water don't destroy if you have something on the ground. Well, I think we finished with the first column, and I will repeat this 10 times to wire all the columns. Now I will put the first dispenser. So I should access the bottom of this platform and can use water in order to do it. Take the dispenser and go for some blocks and try to put the dispenser oriented to the bottom. This way. This way is fine, and now I can take back my water. And before I finish this, I will make some testing, because there is a problem with the dispensers that they are not precise. when I start shooting arrows, they won't be exactly on the center block, and I will add a system in order to fix this. But first, let's finish the wiring. This wiring is enough because the block next to it is powered, and I will put some arrows inside the dispenser just for testing. And now I will action this clock and see how this dispenser works. So I will launch it now and try to go with the elytra in order to see how it works for the arrows. And as you see, arrows start going down, but they don't touch the center block. And this is the problem I'm going to fix now. In order to make the arrows go down exactly vertically, we should eliminate their horizontal velocity. And it is possible to do it using water. So I will just put a column of water, not necessarily water sources, just water, any kind. I will use the same trick here, so I put some water, then I go down, and I try to surround the dispenser with these columns. I will try to go down 5 blocks. Then 4 blocks on the sides. Then here on the 5th block I will put a sign. Then just below the dispenser I will put a bucket of water. Then I will cover this with other building blocks. Then I can get back my water and I will go test this system again to see if the arrows are precise now. Then again I will start the clock and go check the arrows. And as you see guys, now all the arrows will go down and touch the bedrock here, which means the center where the end crystal will be. This system is really fine, and if you need to make your dispenser's precision higher, use this system. I put there not 5 blocks of water but 4 blocks because I put the sign on the 5th block, and even with 4 blocks we can have this precision. We may need 5 blocks for the lower columns like this one, but I think that generally 4 blocks are enough. And don't forget that you can take back your arrows shot by dispensers. And here is what this system looks like when it is finished. Several dispensers with a tube of some blocks of water underneath, which makes it very precise when it shoots arrows. As we know, there are 2 types of columns. Generally, 2 of the obsidian columns have iron cages around the end crystals. So with these columns, it isn't possible to use arrows. So it is fine. We can use, for example, TNT. But the problem is that we are very high in the world, and if we shoot TNT from here, it will explode mid-air. So the solution of TNT won't work here. Well, the solution is to use TNT platforms less higher than this level. And these TNT platforms will be activated with arrows shot from here. From here, I will go down several blocks and I will make platforms with dispensers that I will charge with TNT so that they can be activated from the platform I'm on now. And the platform should look something like this. I put a target block, and this target block will send redstone signal when it is shot with an arrow. So here am I on the top of this obsidian tower, and I will use some scaffolding in order to go up so that I can put the TNT platform. How high? Well, the platform should be outside the range of the explosion of the end crystal, because when the dragon is summoned, end crystals explode at the beginning, but we don't want them exploding our platform. And at the same time, the platform should not be very high so that it is possible for the TNT to explode the cage. It shouldn't explode mid-air. And we should just make sure that the obsidian is directly below us. We can use the technique of the water like this and watch if this water will land directly on the obsidian. After that, we will put a dispenser, but I won't use water now because I have scaffolding. And we should make sure it is oriented to the bottom, and to finish, a target block. This target block is enough to send the redstone signal if it is shot from the platform above. And I made this platform a bit bigger in order to ease my landing if I'm using the elytra. Well, I think now it's fine. The only towers with the cage above them are these 2, and I placed all the necessary platforms. And now it is time to test all of this. I'm going to go to the overworld in order to bring some arrows from my skeleton farm and to bring some TNT using my creeper farm. And after some time in my gas farm, I could have several gas tiers that will allow making end crystals, where for sure we need also some ender eyes. And with the end crystals we can simulate the presence of a dragon in the end. Well, now I will fill up all the dispensers of this system, and I will fill also the platforms with TNT. I have everything with me now. But first I will remove this torch in order to stop linking the system to the clock, and I will replace it with a button. And this will be the button that will trigger all this system. If everything goes well, we won't need so many arrows inside each of the dispensers, but as I have many of them, I may use 2 or 3 stacks by dispenser. And now I think it is time to put the TNT in each of the 2 dispensers. And now that the first test went well, let's put real end crystals on all these columns. And for the short columns where there are cages, I will also finish the cage, in order to create all the conditions that we find when the dragon is here. I'm a bit nervous, but now behold the final test. It is weird to see all these end crystals while the fountain is already activated, because I've put them manually, but I prefer to make this test before summoning the dragon, so that it is possible for me to make some corrections if something goes wrong. And now let's see, I have just one button to push, just this button, and when I do it, I will try to fly in order to see if everything is going well. Are we seeing some arrows? Yes, 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 everything is fine, there is no end crystal, no end crystal. That means that this system works perfectly. I'm very happy. Well guys, let's do it. Let's fight the dragon. I thought at the beginning that no, maybe not, but why not? Let's do it. Let's do it. And I will just put the last of the 4 end crystals, and then I will go and wait for the dragon to appear, and afterwards I will just push the button. So let's see if everything will go as expected. And I think that the dragon is generated at the height 128. Yes, yes, and all the lights are on this tower. That means that the tower is not exploded. Now let's find out if everything will be fine, if the system works. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, yes guys, everything is working. Now, all I have to do is fighting the dragon, and as you see, the dragon does not go very high, so he won't destroy the system. I just want to make it go away from the tower, so that I can use it for another dragon. Guys, I think those are the last shots. As you see, I think that my system is still safe, and the combat with the dragon can be a bit long, but it depends. GG. It depends on how you handle the arrow and the sword, but I think that's half of the work, which means the part that consists in breaking the end crystals can now be handled only with redstone. I'm very happy with this system. And we can directly check if the system is broken or not only by the lights. If there is an alternation between on and off lights, that means that the system is fine. The only thing that we lost, I think, is this dispenser on the TNT platform, and I think next time I will make it higher, but the other one is fine. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very proud of this system. It is very easy, a bit material demanding, but it isn't complicated at all. Just some dispensers dispensing some arrows, and the shots are made more precise using water columns, and that's all. Well, of course, with some TNT platforms in order to break the cages. And now the second phase is fighting the dragon. Well, I'm not going to make it now because I had one idea, TNT dupers in order to explode the dragons. I have already made the test in my creative test world, but even with this system, I think it is fine. At least we won't have to break the end crystals several times. We push one button and everything is done, and then we can fight the dragon normally. My friends, thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to leave a like, to share it with your friends and subscribe. If you have any question, don't mind to use the comments. See you in another video. Au revoir!